everybody, we're live now. Welcome to Blue Table Talk. I'm your host, Deborah Jones. And we have our guest here tonight who's running for mayor, but we're gonna talk about him later. I'm gonna introduce him later, and then we're gonna go in there and check him out and see what's his plan to run this city in Beaumont, Texas. Okay, but before we do that, we always like to do a little housekeeping, and we're gonna talk about the coronavirus. The COVID is still out there. You can get vaccine and you can get tested for it. The places to get tested, some of the places to get tested, not all of it. I'm just going to name just a few. Will be MD Kids Pediatrics, which is at 490 IH10 North Frontage Road, Suite 100. Also, the phone number over there is 409-212-9988. You can go to Chris's Prompt 2 on LADHON. They're open every day of the week, even Saturdays. They do the vaccine during the week, but on the weekends, you can get tested for it. You can also go to Beaumont Urgent Care, which is at 3650 North Major Drive, and really most of all of the urgent cares, you can go there. Their phone number of Beaumont Urgent Care is 409-333-1272. They used to take a certain amount of people a day, but now you just walk in. It's a walk-in thing. So you can just walk in and actually take the testing. I don't know whether or not they're doing the vaccine over there, but I do know they're doing the testing over there. I know that for a fact. Also, I just heard on television that Lamar University is doing vaccines, but they're doing it for the student and the staff. So they only got so many vaccines over there that St. Elizabeth has offered them, and so they're doing it to the students and the staff. So also you can go to People's Care on Dollar Road. Also, all these testings are 15-minute testings, and you just go out there and ask for it and receive them. Of course, you bring your insurance card, and like your CVS, your Beaumont, City of Beaumont, Walgreens. Bring your insurance card, and they'll take it from there. Okay, so the United States could be approaching herd immunity because we're not there yet. But the United States can be approaching herd immunity, which occurs when enough people become immune to this disease to make it spread unlikely. This is based on the number of vaccinations that have already been administered, as well as finding from a recent study. What happens when we reach herd immunity? I'm glad you asked that question. That's a good question. It means that cases decreases without social intervention, which might be what scientists are starting to see right now. Now, even though the data are hopeful, that does not mean that COVID-19 is over with. COVID-19 will not be eradicated, or that we cannot let our guards down until it comes to we always use the 3W: wash your hands, watch your distance, and the other W. I think that COVID-19 is going to be an endemic instead of a pandemic, which means that it's going to be a seasonal, like the seasonal flu, which we have to tolerate regular. So just watch out for that COVID-19. Make sure you go and take your shot, both shots, 2 shots for the Pfizer, 2 vaccines for the Moderna, 1 for Johnson & Johnson. So make sure you go there, whatever one you take, make sure that everything's okay. You might, some of you guys might have some type of side effect or whatever, but it's okay. It's okay. But if it gets too bad, then you go back to the emergency room or whatever, so they can take care of you. Okay, let's talk about voting. Last day to vote is the last day to register to vote will be Thursday, April the 1st, 2021. Early voting starts Monday, April the 19th, 2021 through Tuesday, April the 27th, 2021. Last day to apply by ballot by mail will be Tuesday, April 12th. That means that you can go ahead and continue to apply for your ballot by mail if you want to, 65 and over, or if you have some type of ailment, go ahead and apply for your ballot by mail. But they have to be received in mail to the courthouse by Saturday, May the 1st, which is Election Day. So remember, your last day to apply for your ballot by mail will be April 20th, and last day to receive the ballot by mail at the courthouse, which will be Saturday, May 1st, which is Election Day. Okay, so don't come and say I didn't get my ballot. And remember, apply for it. Now, you remember when you go to vote, you have to have 2 things. You either have to have your driver's license or your voter's registration card. or some type of ID with your picture on. You can have a veterans card or whatever. But long as they have your picture on it and it's feasible for the voting, then they will accept it. So if you have not voted yet or applied for voting yet, go ahead and apply for it. You know somebody who hadn't applied for voting yet, go ahead and apply for it. Let's talk about the candidates for election. We have our mayor, Roy West, Brigadier Hernandez Smith, W.L. Pate, Robin Mouton, Lashon Proctor. At large, we have Albert J. Turner, Randy Philshaw, James Eller Jr., Elias Abara, Brian Nufo, Tahar Karashi. Ward 1, we have Taylor Neal. Ward 2, we have Mike Guest, Mal Haynes, Alfred Dean. Ward 3, we have Alderman Samuel, Robert Walker. And Ward 4, we have Brandon Johnson, Kevin Reese, and Charles Chris Durio. So those are your candidates for election for those positions, the mayor and city at large. We also have BISD candidates also, but I don't have their names out right now. Okay, so tonight we have on our podcast tonight, we have Lashon D. Proctor. And how you doing, Lashon? You okay?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Jones. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
It's so nice to have you. I mean, it was hard to catch up with you, but it's so nice to have you here tonight. And we're just going to ask you a couple of questions and to get things started. And then from there, you take it from there. And the viewers ask questions. Then I'll show you their questions that they're asking, and we'll just go from there. How about that? That'd be okay?
That sounds good.
Okay, so let me say hello to Alexa, Victoria, and also to Lillian Brown. How you guys doing? They're watching right now, so we're going to go ahead. We're live now. We just actually okay. Let me turn it down. Let's see. Introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, yes, ma'am. My name is, as you stated before, Lashon Proctor. I am a Beaumont native for the most part of my life. I've been here in Beaumont. Graduated from Westbrook High School. 1987. From there, I went to the military, went to the Navy, where I spent 10 years in the Navy, was a member of several ships that I served on, served in the Gulf War, was a part of that, was stationed overseas for the most part of my military tour, came back to the States, got out of the military, went to work for BNSF Railroad, worked there for 13 years. During that period of time after getting out of the military, we also established our funeral business. From that point, worked at BNSF Railroad, was a union member, was a member of UTU and BLE. And that way I was a local chairman for BNSF UTU union for about 5 years or so. I was a local chairman for that. Outside of that, just been in the community, servicing my community, helping out wherever is needed, doing the things that need to be done to make the community better, as well as we build in our funeral business. That's what I do for a living. I'm a licensed funeral director and a mortician. So that's what I do at my day job, how we make a living and take care of our families. In that part, we've kind of established our funeral business here we started in Silsbee. A lot of people think that we started our funeral business in Port Arthur. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people think we're from Port Arthur. But we actually are from Beaumont. We started our business in Silsbee, is where we started our first funeral home. Then we were just able to be blessed to branch out from there. So at this point, we have 4 other different locations in different counties that we are able to serve the communities that we're in. And we're an intricate part of all of the communities that we serve. We're very active in those communities and do things in those communities to support those communities. And that's just where we are. Our belief is that we go into communities and we support them. We don't go in and take the resources that we're blessed to be able to have and take them out of that community. We leave resources in those communities. We support those communities in everything that they have and a lot of things that they have going on. And that's just been a motto of our business as far as just some of the things that we've been trying to do.
So what do you believe is the role of the mayor?
Well, the role of the mayor is what the mayor does. And I think a lot of times people everybody don't understand the mayor. Here, of course, we have our government is run by a city manager. The mayor is a part of the emergency management team, and the mayor actually runs the business, the council meetings is what the mayor actually does. Of course, the other things that the mayor is a part of the city is just kind of helping out, but those are the actual 2 roles that the mayor actually plays. Of course, we'll be doing other things to try to help the city run, just giving input. But our government is run by a city manager. So that's the person that actually runs the city.
So what unique qualities would you bring to the role?
Well, I think, first of all, it's just a matter of my thing is bringing people together, being able to have a conducive relationship to where we all can respect each other, where we all can look at what's best for the city. And just I think sometimes the mayor's like the quarterback, in the sense if you relate it to sports, you have the other persons. The quarterback can't do anything without those other persons. He can't do anything without the running back, can't do anything without the receiver, can't do anything without the linesman. They need all of those persons in order to play their role in order to make that team successful. And I just look at the mayor in the sense of being the quarterback, to bring everybody together, to facilitate some things, to make some input, and to be able to go out and be the spokesman, for the city. The mayor is actually the person that if something goes out, something happens, a lot of people look for the mayor to give those answers, to bring that facilitation to the table. And that's just kind of in a sense of what I would love to do for this city.
If you're elected, what is your first priority if you're elected?
Well, first priority of was elected to really be able to sit down at the table and see what has been going on with the city, because that's some of the things where I don't have privy of. I don't have privy to those meetings, those internal council meetings or internal things. So first of all, I like to go and meet the people, meet who are the heads of the department, meet the people in the places that they are. What roles do they play? What are their ideas? What do they see for the city? What are the things that they think that have not been happening in the city? Those are the first things, before I can do anything else. I think I need to understand what I'm dealing with. I need to understand what's missing, and what's needed and what's actually working. Those are the first things that I think that needs to happen.
So from your knowledge, what is the city's of Beaumont's biggest challenge, and how would you tackle it?
Well, I think first of all, across the board, I think our biggest task that we've had was dealing with COVID. Something that you basically started your talk off with is COVID. COVID has been a thing that has affected us all, not only in Beaumont, but across the world, and I think that's something that now, of course, the county is really involved in getting people vaccinated. The county judge is doing a wonderful job, I think, as far as just getting things from what I see, getting people vaccinated. The city is playing a part in that. I think that's the first thing. And I think once, as you said earlier, once we get people, the majority of the people vaccinated, everyone that wants to be vaccinated, educate people on the vaccines for the ones that may be not thinking about getting the vaccines. I think that's first tackle that we have. Of course, I think one thing about that, when you look at that now, everyone thinks COVID has went away, and that's one of the things that I think that we just need to have persons understand. Just because it's not in the limelight, it's still very much so real, and it's still very so much happening and affecting families and taking people's lives.
Right. So you would tackle that COVID situation. So how would you come about tackling it? I mean,
well, again, I think, like as I speak, I think the city, and that was just one of the first things I said. I think the city at this point, again, they're getting people vaccinated. They're doing a wonderful job at that. So I think we're headed in the right direction, with COVID. I just think that that's something that we all have to look at. As far as things that's going on, of course, the city has many issues that's going. Just becoming to be on one accord, even with the uproar and things that we're seeing or people are saying about going in the city council. But again, it's going in and actually seeing what's going on. We know that the infrastructure and flooding and all of those things are issues. We understand that. For me, as everybody, a lot of people in my area, a lot of people in this city has been affected, by the infrastructure, whether it's flooding, brown water, those type of things. And it's just a matter of being able, before I can say what we can tackle, is going in to see what is going on, because everyone has an outside solution. Everyone has an outside opinion. But until you can actually get in and talk to those persons that's actually seeing what's going on and actually seeing how things are being handled and where is the problem, then we can see what's best to be able to address those. So I would, first of all, like to see what are the problems, talk to those people that's actually been dealing with this situation and saying, hey, what is it that's been going on? How has it been addressed? And what can we do in order to try and just make it a little bit better or fix the problem?
Okay, I have one of my viewers asked a question. Let's see. They said, do you know why, Kathy Wingate said, how are you doing, Kathy? Do you know why they are not using the Beaumont Civic Center for vaccines?
No, ma'am. I don't know that. I think that's one of the things where that decision was made by, in maybe in a council meeting or whatever. I have no privy, of that. I can say that Beaumont Health Department has been doing a wonderful job as far as vaccinating the people, getting them in, getting those persons that's been done. And I can say that because that's where we went. My family went there to get their vaccines. When they were ones that was calling and telling people. So not sure why they did not use the Civic Center, but it seems that way that the health department is doing a wonderful job with that.
What do you think is most important for our city right now? Building new homes and commercial space, or rehabbing, expanding, better utilizing our existing homes?
Well, of course, I would think that fixing what you have, what I'm saying? Sometimes if we're going to talk about fixing what we have, I think everyone can't afford to build a new home. Mm-hmm. Everyone don't have the resources to build a new home. Of course, we look out throughout the city and see that they're building a bunch of apartment complexes. But yeah. But if you had, and again, this is just my own personal opinion, and right. I say that this is my own personal opinion. There are houses that have in areas that have been left unattended. I just say that they've been left unattended. No one is doing anything with those homes. I think that if they had a way to be able to put resources into those homes, fix those homes, you would increase the beauty of neighborhoods instead of having a lot of vacant lots. Mm-hmm. That is nothing is being done. We can turn those into affordable housing, in a sense of using those. But in that sense, I just think growth is good, building is good, but everybody can't afford a new home that would like to be a homeowner. And it's just a matter of how do we help those persons to be able to afford a home, on a reasonable income. Of course, what we see here locally is an average income, because everybody doesn't make that money. Everybody don't have the credit scores. Everybody don't have the credit history in order to even be able to go out and buy. So I think refurbishing some homes, fixing some homes, giving personnel that want to be first-time home buyers an opportunity to be able to purchase those homes, I think that would be a great avenue to be able to do. And even in the sense with that, being able to give some of your contractors, that want to be able to help, it can be a win-win situation for everyone in doing that.
Like I know that crime is at an all-time high in Beaumont, Texas. Mm-hmm. How would you drive crime to be lower than it is today? And what would be your three most important strategies of lowering this crime?
Well, first thing I think in lowering the crime is being able to know the neighborhoods and the people that you're dealing with, know the communities, know the kids in the communities. A lot of our crimes right now are being committed by juveniles.
Right.
They're being committed really by kids a lot of them are under the age of 17, 18 years old. They are committing these crimes. What is the mindset? A lot of times, the parents are out working, they're working 2 jobs, they're not really at home. And all of the kids, I can't say all of the kids that's committing crimes are bad kids. Some of them just keeping bad company.
Right.
And good kids get caught up in bad company.
They don't have anything to do.
And I think that, even having, I think with a lot of intervention, something for the kids to do. First of all, we have to find something for them to be able to do. But these kids that's on the wrong road, bad track, I think once we put neighborhood associations, community policing, into play, where the officers will have a better relationship, with the kids and just check on them. Sometimes just knocking on the door when they haven't been in trouble, going by and just checking on them when they haven't been in trouble. Because we know a lot of times it's just that interaction of saying, hey, how you doing? I'm not coming because you're in trouble today. I'm just coming to say hello to you, and I think that at some point gives a kid a little bit of inspiration to say, you know what, you ain't just coming around when I'm doing bad. You are looking at me. So I think those are a few things that we can do as far as just kind of deterring crime and giving kids an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, you do care about me. And it's not you just fussing at me. Nobody want to be fussed at all the time.
No.
Some people want to get patted on the back sometimes, and say, hey, you know what, you're doing a good job today, or you're doing okay today. And I just think that's encouragement that sometimes our kids are missing, from just, we are failing our kids as a whole. I'll say that.
But like I know that we would point a finger or won't pat the child on the back when they're doing bad. We won't tell them anything when they're doing bad, but when they're doing good, but when they're doing bad, we point that finger and say, "Hey, you did this wrong." But when they doing bad, tell them what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when they're doing good, you can always say, "Hey, you did a good job on that." But we've got to get to the nitty gritty and tell them what's going on while they're doing the wrong thing. I have a question on here. Let me see what she says. Gwen says, I want to know about the streets in the South End and South Park area. What, be a little specific about that, Gwen, because tell me a little bit more about what you want to know about that. Let's go to Kathy again. She says, I think it's because the father will not step up to their places as father, talking about the children, as far as, the kids getting in trouble. Okay. So let's talk, excuse me. Let's talk about our downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stickler on that because when I was, I tell everybody who come on my podcast, when I was raising up, my parents brought me up, downtown was kicking. We had everything down there. We had furniture stores. We had it was just like Park Dem Mall, and we had restaurants down there, but now we have nothing.
Is that during the Foresight era?
In the Foresight area. What you trying to say now? What you trying to say?
I'm just saying though. I mean, when you look at that, it was a totally different era.
It was a totally different era.
So that's
but it's not all of it's gone. I mean, all of it's gone.
Well, exactly. The churches, East Mount Olive was a figurehead down
there. Yes.
Those were things that was down there. It was a nightlife. You know what I'm saying? That's where your nightlife was. But again, sometimes we answer our own questions. So when you ask that question and you say you go back to that era, you look at the era that it was.
So how can you as a mayor bring it back together, bring it back to blooming?
Well, I think it's the matter of showing even at that point in time, I think people seen the value in that. I mean, and I think that's one thing as a mayor that I hope that I can bring to the table is showing the value in Beaumont. You have to see value in anything before you invest in it. You see a home, it's just the vision that you have. We were talking about homes that were dilapidated, homes that was falling down. Everybody don't see that home as a diamond in the rough.
Right.
Some people look at it and say it needs to be torn down. But some people can look at that and say, man, that's a mansion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's how you look at it. It's what you put value in. Some people don't put value in things. And I think putting value in Beaumont, when you can show investors and personnel and even our communities that there's value in it. And in anything that's value, you're not ashamed, or you're willing to invest in it. If you see no value in anything, you're not willing to invest in it. You're not going to put your resources. You're more so not going to put your money into it because you feel like it's a lost cause.
Right.
So in that, how me can show people the value, and it's how you look at it. Even when you're painting a picture, sometimes when the artist paint the picture, you don't see what the artist is even seeing. You start off and you be like, what is that? That don't look like, but when he flip it upside down and turn it around, you like, wow, and I think that's the thing that we have to look at downtown as. We have to look at it as a blank canvas and say, how can we go into this and make this a beautiful picture? It's doable. You have the buildings there. You have the structures there. You have everything that you need there. Now it's the matter of, just because it failed at one point, or I won't even say fail, just because it did not do what someone wanted it to do. Because keep in mind, if you have private investors come in and do something, then people want a return on their money.
Right.
And you're only going to invest so much into it before you get a return. There is short-term investments and long-term investments. And anything that you want to be successful, you have to look at it as a long-term investment. Because if you look at it as a short-term investment, if you're not making your money in the time frame that you say you need to make your money in, then you back up out of it. And I think that's just the thing that we have to show. What is the value, and how are we going to show that this can make money and make it a long-term investment? Because nothing is built overnight. You can't do anything in a night. I mean, it's somewhat in our community now. We're looking for that popcorn reaction. You see what I'm saying? You put it in the microwave, put it on popcorn, a minute later, it's done. It's ready. But business doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. It takes time. It takes years to pour into something that you believe in. And even when it seems like it's not working, you got to keep pouring into it. And then you will get the reward if you put what's into it.
But you know, when they built Crockett Street, when they was trying to build that up and everything, it was like, oh well, they got Crockett Street, now they're gonna come backwards and get the rest of it. You're gonna get all the rest of Pearl Street and do it all over again. But that didn't happen. So now it's time. I think it's time now to rebuild Beaumont.
Mm-hmm. And it is. We're long overdue.
Long overdue.
We're long overdue. Beaumont is a place when you have waterfront property. You know, of course, our port does well, especially when the military equipment was being moved. You know, it was one of the main places. I was working for BNSF, you know, at the time when the Iraq War was going on. Mm-hmm. And we were moving so much military equipment through Beaumont. You know, I mean, everything was coming through here. So the port is very, very viable. The port is doing well. And we have waterfront property here. So it's a lot of things that can be done. But again, we have to have the investors. You know, the city is only going to do so much, you know, but we have to attract private investors that's going to see, again, the value. And it's like anyone else. Nobody wants to dump their money in somewhere where they think that they cannot get a return. So it's going to be able to put the plots together, put the plans together, and be able to present it. And it's just, how do we present this to the people that we're trying to have to come into the city? And we have to be willing to allow them to come in and do some things. And that's where we have to be. And we're going to have to give a little bit, you know, whether it's tax breaks, whether it's incentives, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have, if we want real people to come in here and invest money, because you're not going to be talking, even Crockett Street, you're not talking about $100,000. You're going to be talking about millions of dollars. You know, you're going to be talking about millions of dollars to come in here and make this thing viable. And we're just going to have to do those things that look at other cities. What's working in other cities? You know, go in and talk to those persons that's making those things work in other cities, and not be closed-minded, and bring those ideas here. You know, because there's other cities that, you know what, I look at this and we say we cannot grow. If you look at the tsunami that happened, about 3 or 4 years ago in Japan, I don't know if they did a story in the mail on the news the other day, and I think it's been like 4 years. That city has been rebuilt, redone. Everything has been redone. It's been done in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So places across the country and across the world are showing us that it can be done. It's just a matter of how we're going to put it into place, and having like-minded people with the same goal in order to want to make it happen. Until you have like-minded people that want to see the same thing
happen. Fresh blood, baby. Fresh blood.
That's what you're going
to do. What's the vision? You got to have that vision.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
Gotta have it.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to stay stagnated, it's going to always be just like it is. But you got to have that vision to move on.
And that's one thing when you talk about vision. I'm a dreamer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. If you look at, and again, my business is, I use that for some of the things that I've done. I've always been a dreamer of what I want, and I've always been a person that I will step out on faith. You know what I'm saying? And step out on faith on what it is that I want to have. And most importantly, you know, God has always shown me, I feel like God has always been there and shown me favor, and had people to show favor. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes people that believe in you, and people to help you to do anything that's going to get done.
But you can't tell everybody. You cannot tell everybody your vision.
Well, you can't because, but you know what? People will try to steal your vision, but if they ain't got the right, it's not gonna work anyway.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. But I just say that because of what we have done. I use my father. You know, my father, my mother, my father. You know, they started this business and had it. My father had enough faith in the vision that I had for our business to be able to allow me to do some things. My father was older. My father understood that. He was older. He was outside his heyday. You know, I tell people all the time in this business, even in embalming, if I'm half as good as my daddy, I'll be better than most. You know what I'm saying? Because my daddy was just good at what he did. You know, and my dad allowed me to show some of the vision. Now he had me on a string. You know what I'm saying? And say, let's see if it's gonna work. You know, but he gave me the opportunity to express the vision that I had and show the things that I had, and we were able to grow our business, you know, but it comes back when you were just saying a few minutes ago, experience and all of that is always good. But sometimes you have to have young, innovative, fresh minds, fresh ideas, not to take away from what you've built, not to take away from your experience. But you know what? It's no different. As everyone gets older, they don't have the same drive
They don't have the same drive
that they had. You see,
but
because once
you can't take away from people who are older who have that drive though.
You can't. You can't, because there are some. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, you can't take away. But those persons that have that knowledge and that experience with some young legs, they don't have to run. Mine's still sharp. My mama, 83. Mine's still sharp. It's a lot of things I don't even try to do because my mama got it handled. You know what I'm saying? But my mama don't move as fast as she used to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? My mother can't do the things that she used to do. So that's where the younger people come in. You still got that mind to say, go do it.
Yeah.
Go, this is what you need to do. And you follow because you know those persons are giving, they're not going to lead you wrong.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? But that new energy and just dialogue to say, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what, and it's about getting people's, you have to get their approval, but winning their confidence to knowing that when it's turned over to you, that you're going to handle the reins and you're going to do the right thing. And I think that's just some of the things that it need to be experienced. You need to let younger people get involved and understand that, hey, it is going to be in good hands. Because it's sort of like, I use this scenario for you. I was working on a railroad, and a lot of times the guy, we had to be trained. And he's even now driving a car, however you want to look at it, whatever scenario you want to use. If you know that you had the opportunity to teach the person to drive, and you didn't teach them to drive, and you said, you know what, I ain't got time. Now they driving on their own. Would you be comfortable getting on a 2-lane road, going opposite of them, having them coming head on at you, knowing that you had the opportunity to teach them how to drive, but they really don't know how to drive? You're going to be nervous. Are they going to cross the lane? Are they going to run into me? Or do they know to stop? Do they know not to stop? But if you know you trained them well, then you don't have to worry about it. Because you know you've trained them. You know they know what the right thing to do. You know they're going to take care of business. And then you can sit back and say, I feel comfortable with that. And because at some point in time, whether we want to or not, we all going to have to give up. We all got to give up the ghost.
Right. But don't take away from their wisdom.
Yes, ma'am. Not at all.
Don't take away from their wisdom.
You need that. You need that. My parents are very intricate parts of our business, even today. My daddy's finna turn 80 on the 19th. My mother is 83. Still, day-to-day operations have a very intricate part in our business. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I need that, you know. And I say often for me, you know, even in that sense, God knows what we need. God puts in our place what we need and those things like that. And the experience and the knowledge and still the things that I go back to them for and the things that they still deliver and give, I need that.
Right.
You know, and I thank God for that. So we can't take away from what our elders and our parents and those persons that come before us, we can't take away from what they've done. We can't not involve them. What they have is very, very, very important for us moving forward, even moving this city forward. We need those persons. You know, I'm not in favor of, I mean, we need a change, but you know what? Even with change, you still need those people that come before you. You know, even for me, if I'm mayor, you know what I'm saying? I even with Mayor Ames, there are certain things that we say that I would dialogue with her. She's been in that position. I've never been there. She's experienced certain things. I've never experienced those. I would love to have that open communication where I can lean on that. You know what I'm saying? And just get that knowledge and get that understanding and get those things for things that have happened and that has come before me. You know, I know that I need people in order to make things work. I know that I need people in order to help me to make things better. I mean, that's one of the things that I know. And I would never, you know, not look to my elders or the people that have come before me in order to make things to be a part.
Okay, so we having questions coming through, and all come. And I gotta go back. Here's one right here with Isaac Mouton. Hey, Isaac, how you doing? What are his thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Dollar Road extensions and thoughts on Beaumont Transit as far as removing the buses? That was going to be one of my questions, also.
Okay, so we'll do Dollar Road extension. I mean, those are things to where when we look at Dollar Road extension, excuse me, I only know a lot of, again, what I've seen, like most people know about Dollar Road extension. So I can't tell you a whole lot of how it's being done. I just know when you look at these plans and these things, let me use this, and I'm just to kind of tell you what I do know, and I'm gonna use where I am in order
Right.
to just give you a little bit of a thing. Our project on Washington Boulevard, when people start talking about Washington Boulevard, this project in Washington Boulevard, these plans and all of this stuff that's being done right now on Washington Boulevard was done 10 years ago. Just because they just started working on Washington Boulevard last year, year before, the plans and everything that they done was approved 10 years ago. And I say that we did the renovation on our building in Washington Boulevard in 2014. We had a whole different people on city council, but at that point in time. So the things that happened on this, we were very intricate part on the things that went on Washington Boulevard, especially in our space, because it was going to affect our business. It was going to affect how things go. So we were in a lot of that, involved with the city council. At the time, Jamie Smith was the city councilman for Ward 4 in the project that was going on Washington Boulevard. So he was a person of contact for us to make sure that things that was going to affect us when it really got to us this year, when they started working on it, that it was done to where it wouldn't infringe on our business and how things were working. We did those plans back in 2014. You see what I'm saying? So all of that stuff was done then. So come to say the Dollar Road extension, this is stuff that was put in play probably 10 years ago, because they're just now starting to do it. So a lot of those things, when those plans was drawn and those things were done, you had a whole different people that were sitting on that council. You know, a whole different, not everybody, but your newer people that's on the council now. So you look at anybody 10 years less, those people probably wasn't involved in that project. You know, those people probably didn't even have privy of the information that was going on in those projects because it was so long ago. But I think one thing that you look at down the road, everything is moving that way. You know what I'm saying? Everything is moving that direction. When we look at investing on ours in the Payarchy and South Park in the North End, in those areas of town, you don't have a lot of things. Everything is moving out of those sides of town. Your businesses are tending to leave. Everything is moving west. So I think that that's one of the things, and we have to look at, with that extension, what was done previously, what was done in the administration prior. So for me to be able to talk on that and talk about that, I wouldn't even step into that, because I may give you wrong information. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to give wrong information, but I do know that those plans were probably put into place before a lot of your people, even on this administration, got into place. And it's going to be something that we will look at, and what's going to be best. What are we trying to do? But, you know, they're trying to put everything out there now. That's where a lot of your businesses are being built. A lot of we were talking about apartment complexes. Where are they being built on that side? You know, where that extension is being done at.
So what about the Beaumont Transit as far as removing the buses?
Well, again, Beaumont Transit, I think, is very much so needed. You know, Beaumont, the thing that
But you want them to remove the buses?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Remove the buses?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, the buses are needed for persons that need to be able to get around.
Right.
Everybody don't have cars.
Everybody
don't have the means to be able to get a car. So how are those persons going to get around if they don't have the transit? A lot of people, that's the way they get to work. That's the way that they get to their doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
That's the way they get to Social Security office.
Right.
That's the way that they take care of their business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how else will people get around if you don't have a public transit system? You have to have that. I mean, and even with the public transit system, we have to be able to have those employees. You have to take care of those persons as well. You know what I'm saying? They are in a sense city employees. You know, I mean, I understand how the bus system is run by a third party company. You know what I'm saying? I understand all of those things. And those are just some things that again, we have to look at those things with that and how that part works. But those persons and those buses, they are a necessity for the city to be able to run.
How do you feel about the funds that were removed from the crossing guard program? Are you willing to support assisting BISD with funding that program? Thank you, Albert Turner. I didn't know that, but thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, and of course that's one of the things, and AJ has answered that question, so AJ understands how that part of that works, to where even when you have the partnership, I think the city and the school district has to partner.
Yeah, they have to.
when you're talking about growth, you're talking about growth. And we all have to look at that. If we have children, you want to go to a school district that's thriving, that's going to teach, that's going to do things. So we have to support BISD. We
We
have
have
to
to.
support that system, because without that, nobody's going to want to bring their kids here. So
Mm-mm.
how can the city and BISD be at odds in any type of thing? I would want the crossing guards, because at the end of the day, who's going to watch your child as they cross the street?
Right.
Who's going to watch that child
You
if
have a
my
lot.
child?
You have a lot of children walking to school.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And
So
because of where they live, if they
right.
live too close, you can't get a bus. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So the parents can't always take them because they got to be to work.
Right.
You know
And
what
it's
I'm saying?
two
So
it's a 2 mile
who
radius. Right.
who is going to look at who's going to look out for these children? Some of them have to cross major intersections to get to school. Some
Exactly.
of them have to cross streets where a lot of times people are not paying attention. So this has to be done if you want growth for this city. That's only going to be a thing of saying that we're going to invest in our children. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to invest in our children. We're going to make the things right for our children to be able to grow our city. So it's a lot of things that I feel that, and this is one thing that I say, I'm a product of BISD.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you look at, everyone bashes BISD and those things, but I'm a product of BISD. A lot of people that's successful in this community, a lot of people that have done things in this community, a lot of people that have done things that have left out of this community, they're products of BISD.
Yeah.
So again, if you want to bash those things and take those things, sometimes you have to say, what has it done for you? I mean, whether you like it or not, it has been a part of us. It's going to be a part of us. It's going to be a part of this city. If you want this city to grow, we have to want our school district to be strong. Our school district has to be strong,
Yeah.
because if it's not strong, nobody's going to want to move here and put their children in the system, because everybody that move here can't afford to go to private school. So
Right.
we have to have a strong school district. So I support, all of that,
Right.
because I know my son is going to be wanting to walk to school. You know what I'm saying? Once he gets to the age, he's almost there where he's going to be going to Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to walk to school.
Right.
And I want to make sure someone's going to be there to make sure that,
Because that's a busy street over there.
yes, ma'am. We can only teach our children so much. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? But you have to understand too, those crossing guards, because we all have our children, they got headphones.
Mm-hmm.
We buy them
Right.
earbuds.
Yes.
We buy them headphones. And we know they put them in.
And you know
And
that
we know when they got them in, if
they
somebody's blowing the horn, they're not paying attention.
they ain't paying attention.
And we know that. So what are we going to do to protect our children?
Mm-hmm.
We have to do that. And those persons are there for a reason.
Isaac Mouton said, what 3 major railroads and a port, why are we not attracting more companies from than Austin area, which has 1 major railroad and no port?
Well, I mean, in that sense, that's going to be something as far as when you look at the railroads and stuff that's here, and attracting companies, the railroad is only going to service companies that's really by railroad tracks. So if you're talking about that part of it, I mean, most companies, this is going to be a trucking type of industry. So when you ask that question about railroad, I'm not sure, because we don't have a lot of companies in Beaumont outside of the port that really deal with railroad companies, and I say that because I work for BNSF. So we here, if BNSF and UP here are mostly through freight trains. They have some they make up some trains for small industry, Mobile Amelia, those type of things. But those companies are there. You're not going to have a lot of other companies that's going to come here that's going to be railroad, are going to depend on the railroad, you know what I'm saying, in order to ship their stuff. Everything like that is shipped through trucking industry. So you have a lot of different trucking companies here. If you're talking about shipping goods and shipping things like that across the country, cross road, cross thing, but that the railroad is not going to do a lot here for that, because most of the trains that we have coming here, very things are few that switched out, but most of that stuff is going to be through freight, through freight trains. But just bringing companies, we got to make it attractive, and it's a matter of, again, investing. What companies we want to come here, and how we're going to make it attractive for them to come. Again, school district is going to be one of the things, because any company that's come here going to have employees. And if there's a major company, they're going to bring employees in. They're going to bring their people in. And how do we get them to come and stay here and not want to move outside into the county, where they're going to be able to go to Hardin Jefferson, or they're going to be able to go to Lumberton ISD, or they're going to be able to go to Silsby ISD, or something like that. How do we attract them here? And those companies are going to be the ones that we're gonna want to attract.
Tell me, what is more important to you, acting in response to the will of the people or acting in a way city officials believe is the best course of action?
Well, I'm about the people. The people are the ones that elect you. The people are the ones that you're speaking for. I want to be a voice for the people. Of course, in certain things, when you're in that position and people have you in that position, as a city official, you want to do what's best for the city. But again, it has to be in conjunction with the people. We have to make decisions that's going to be, again, that's going to best suit the city. But it's a lot of things that I look at that is really not best for the community, not best for the people. So that's why I'm in dialogue and wanting to know, what does the people want? There's accountability. If people hold elected officials accountable for the things that they want, then we'll always have a people's run government, a people's run city council.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the people will get out and vote, if the city council, the mayor, me, not doing what you want, you have the option to vote that person out. Why let them stay there? Why? Because of people are saying that they're proven leaders. If they're not doing what you want them to do, why are they still there? You have the option to vote anyone out of office that you vote into office. And that's where you hold people accountable. If they're not doing what you want them to do, then you get someone else in that's going to do what you want them to do. But my thing is always to the people. I want to know what the people want. And that's what we want to be able to do.
So what will you do to improve race relations and eradicate institutionalized racism in Beaumont?
Well, I think that's a thing of sitting at the table, having a seat at the table, and having the community, having the city, in a sense, be a representative of the communities and how the city is. There's a lot of diversity in this city. We look at Beaumont as being melting pot. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, there's other places across the country that is really diverse. But we have all nationalities, all forms of people here in this city. If we have everyone involved in what's going on, everyone to have a voice in what's going on, everyone to have a say what's going on, I'm a big advocate of having a seat at the table. And if you can do that, then we can start to build race relations. Because if you don't understand how I feel about what's going on with me racially, and if you're not listening to me, then you'll never care. If I can't sit down and tell you with an open mind, open dialogue, the things that I'm experiencing, then it'll never make a difference to you. But you have to be able to sit down and talk to me and tell me what it is that's going on with you. Allow me to be able to tell you what's going on with me. And then at that point, we can have an open dialogue and really start to work on. And first of all, working on it, we got to be able to understand and know that it's happening. We have to first be able to acknowledge that there's a problem. Because if we don't never acknowledge that there's a problem, then you'll never have no dialogue with fixing it. But once we're able to acknowledge that there's a problem, then we'll be able to go in and we'll be able to do some things as far as fixing our race relations, because we know that we have issues here in Beaumont.
Oh, yeah.
We know we have issues. We got to stop sleeping it under the rug. You see what I'm saying? Once we stop sweeping it under the rug and be honest across the board, then we can have a real good dialogue about what's going on, and we can fix the problem. It's fixable. It's very so much fixable.
Yeah. William Little said, hello, William. What can be done to attract big tech firms moving from Silicon Valley to the Austin, Texas area to Beaumont, from the Austin, Texas area to Beaumont, Texas?
Well, again, even with that, it's like any other business. We have to show them the value. When you look at Austin, people are wanting to go to Austin because it's the capital. It's the capital of Texas. Everything is happening in Austin. You got lobbyists. You got your Senate people. You have all of those people that's there. They're there to make decisions. So you have these tech companies that's investing in these lobbyists to go in and lobby for them. You know what I'm saying? So they can lobby in things into the state rulings and all of those things. Then that's why they want to be there. So that's why they're moving there. But to move to Beaumont, then of course we have to show value. We have to first, when we get children, we start teaching more tech stuff in our school system, getting more kids interested in the tech world. We have a lot of tech savvy people that's in Beaumont right now. But what do? They all leave. So if those persons leave, then if everybody's recruiting from Beaumont, those persons that are tech savvy, and we're not keeping those persons here, then how can we ever, or why would a tech company ever look at us? They would never look at us if they can recruit the people and they leave and they go to them. So it would cost them less money to come in to bring that here. So we have to, again, look at how can we make it attractive for tech companies, for any type of companies, to be able to come here and say that it's going to be of value to them. We can create our own tech companies. We got enough people that's here savvy enough if we want to invest in them, in order to be able to help them start a small tech company. Because most of your tech companies in Silicon Valley that start up, what do with them? They sell them.
Yeah.
They start them and they sell them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the whole idea of those persons going to Silicon Valley, because they feel like they can be seen. They feel like that somebody's going to notice them, that they can pitch their stuff to them. So they go there and they just want to go there and sell their company. We can do the same thing here. How can we encourage our young people, our tech savvy people, and how can we invest in them in order to be able to keep them here and then bring Beaumont on the market? Beaumont is on the market for athletics. You know what I'm saying? You look around, we produce some of the best athletes, more athletes in the NFL and in professional sports than probably anywhere else. Southeast Texas. We're known for that.
Right.
So just as we're known for that, we can be known for education, tech savvy people, business minded people, and all of those things as well. It's just a matter of where you start.
Right. Melinda Gates said, she just checked. She said, we must all be accountable. We're always expecting far more than we're willing to take a stand. Racism involves every one of us. You are so correct. And now if there's a problem, then come to the table with an open mindset. I have a question. Okay, so we offer that part. So you have a funeral director. You are a funeral director. You own a business.
Mm-hmm.
Will you have time to run your business and be a mayor also?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I have a wonderful staff of people that work and run our business even today. We have a good setup here, in our funeral home. So I think that if I did not think that I could do it, this is not the first time that I've considered running for office. It's just that this is the best time for me, simply because everything is in place, and running my business is something that has been very important to me. Getting our business off the ground and making sure that it was solid has been very important to me. And my family and the persons that come in and help us with this business, they solid, they're good. We're not going to miss a beat. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to progress, and we're going to continue to be dreamers, dreamers, and be a model of just what we think that business should be. And one thing that I dare not want to do is allow my business to lack, what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that have faith in me and my business. There's a lot of people that have faith in us and what we do and what we bring to the table. And a lot of families that entrust their loved ones to us. And my goal is always exceed their expectations. That's the most important thing, to me, is in business, is to make sure that our family's expectations are always exceeded, and we dare not want to lose that or leave any of that being neglected by being in the office. And my staff, they can handle it. They are in position. They've been trained well. They pretty much do it now, so it's nothing that's going to go undone.
We have a little short period of time left. So, just give us a little synopsis about what would you do in the first 90 days if you're elected?
Well, again, as I mentioned before, I think in the first 90 days is learning what's going on. I don't think that I'm not foolish enough to think that I can go into office, take office May 2nd and start changing things. You'll go in office in May 2nd and start making a difference. First of all, you have to learn on what's going on. We understand even across the board in any presidential election and most things, it takes people a year, 2 years to even start to even get things changed. Without understanding, my first goal is to go in and meet those department heads, meet those persons that's in position, meet those persons that's been making decisions, build a relationship, sit down and talk to them, see what it is that they have going on, see what it is that they think that needs to be changed, what they think that's going good, what they think that needs to be changed. That's my goal, for at least the first 90 days that's going in. And then sitting down and coming up with a solution to how we as leaders, how we as those persons that's in those positions can make a change. I'm not going to run the water department. I'm not going to run the city dump. I'm not going to run those people are in those positions for a reason. They've been there. They know what's going on. So I don't think that is to go in and change a whole lot, with those persons. You got to find out what it is. Some people have good relationships with people that didn't have relationships with other people. Some people gel together, some people don't. I'm faithful enough to believe that I can go in and jail with those persons that's in those positions, and we can make this city, better. And that's anything. I look at my company. I want my son to come along and make it better than what I've done. And I think that's what any parent or any business person, when they hand their stuff over, they want that next person to make it better than what it was that they were doing. And that's just what I hope to be able to do. But the first 90 days, that's what I'll do. Go in and learn those people and learn what their needs are and what their desires are and the things that's been happening.
Right. So I think I have one more. What's the Archie Nettles? Hey, Archie, what's the value add for those tech companies?
What's the value that we would add? I mean, I guess, is it saying what is it that we would give to them?
I don't know. Archie, you need to make a little plain for us. What's the value added for those tech companies? Because
I guess maybe incentives. What incentives? And I'm not sure. I'm not a big tech guy, so honestly, I don't know a lot about tech companies. I just know what I read. I just know, again, like Silicon Valley startup companies and things like that they're doing. If something happened to my computer, I got to take it to somebody to get it fixed. I can set up, internet. I can set up routers. I can do those basic things, but how to build things that most tech people do, I have no idea, what those persons do. I would have to lean on somebody, that does that stuff and that know how to make it work. It's basic things with my computer. If something changed too far, I don't even know how to fix it. I got to call the computer guy to come in and do it. So I lean on those persons, honestly. When you're going in those tech companies and finding out, it's what do they need? And at the thing of asking those persons, what would it take for you to come to Beaumont, Texas?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then once they say it takes X, Y, and Z, then we need to bring it back to those persons in Beaumont, Texas, and say, if we want this company to come here, this is what they're saying that they need.
Right.
And then it's how can we get those persons, interested in coming here, and what we need to do in order to have them to come. And that's the basic thing that we have.
You're working for the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys, tonight I brought to you, ladies and gentlemen, I brought to you tonight Lashon Proctor, who's the candidate for mayor. And you heard his views and his plans on what he planned on doing as far as being mayor and to run the city of Beaumont, Texas. So it's your choice to make on April the 19th to vote, and all the way to the 27th to vote. So you got to go out there and vote. If you don't know it, if you know someone who is not registered to vote, please go out there and get them registered to vote, because we need our local officials way more than we need our national officials, because they are local. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say goodnight to you. I appreciate you guys. You guys are always supporting me, and I want to thank Lashon for coming on tonight. And don't leave, because I want to talk to you after we finish. And for you guys, y'all take care of yourself. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. Remember, if I can do anything for you as I pass along this way, then I know that my living shall not be in vain. God bless you. God keep you. It's my prayer. Smooches. Bye.
Thank you.